Has there been a lot of talk about wokeness nowadays, or is it just me?
This woke mind virus.
Woke tyranny.
Advance a pernicious woke agenda.
You can't just say, let it go, because then we're going to be living under an oppressive wokeocracy.
Woke supremacy is as bad as white supremacy.
Wokeness is a virus more dangerous than any pandemic, hands down.
Would you mind defining woke? Because it's come up a couple times, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So, I mean, woke is sort of the idea that...
Here's the tip. If you can't define wokeness, maybe you shouldn't complain about it. If you can't tell me what the thing is that you don't like, maybe you don't have a problem with it. Maybe you just think you have a problem with it because it gets votes or book sales or both. The truth is, all across the internet, you got people talking about wokeness for the last 3 years. One of the most disrespectful things about wokeism or focusing on wokeness is that we got a lot of real problems in this country that far exceed that word. We got poverty, we got bad water, we got bad air, we got wars, we got gun violence, we got opiate addictions, we have homelessness, we have jobs being shipped still, people losing jobs, unemployment, we got mental dissatisfaction with mental health being a real major issue. People just can't get their issue right. We got all these problems all across America. We got child abductions, we got a considerable amount of issues. And all the Republicans can talk about is wokeness. And my thing is this, look, and I think the Democrats should shut up about it. Because wokeness ain't nothing but the Republicans' version of Black Lives Matter. The way the Republicans use wokeness, the term, is the same way the Democrats use Black Lives Matter.
How so, Tim? I don't get it.
The Republicans don't really want to fix anything by pointing at wokeness and saying this wokeness thing means something. It's the same thing Democrats were doing when they weren't really fixing anything by pointing at the random black person who was killed by a cop and going, Black Lives Matter. It was just a way for the Democrats use Black Lives Matter as a way to get votes and to sway public opinion and to change narratives. That's exactly what the Republicans are doing, but they won't admit it. That's what conservatives are doing. They're using wokeness as the means to get votes and to sway voters and also change the narrative.
Oh, I get your point.
What do these two things have in common? Wokeness and Black Lives Matter. They both use blackness to their own benefit, but the black people actually get nothing from it. I don't see a tangible benefit for us. If anything, there was more backlash that was caused from Black Lives Matter, and I expect there to be more backlash caused from wokeism. And at the end of the day, they will have ran on it, they will have won elections behind it, because, hey, let's just face it, the Republicans are good at messaging. And look, I believe that the Democrats are pissed off because they got outflanked by Republicans using their own term that was originated by black folks, meaning that we were aware of what was going on with the system. We were aware of racism and sexism and aware of transphobia, homophobia. We were just aware of the inequities in our society. You are woke. You realize what's going on. That's all it meant. But now it's been used against us who have no power. We don't determine what goes in the school books. We don't determine what movies get made. We don't determine who are the directors and the people that handle the programming on the networks. Not us, so we don't benefit from it. Hell, there was a show called Woke that got canceled in 1 year. Most of you didn't even know that. And they had a black cast, and it was canceled after the first year. That's how much wokeness benefits black folks. And it was on a white network. Being anti-woke is genius because it doesn't mean anything. And it can mean everything. Yeah, they just throw in things that they don't like and say, it's wokeness. They're so focused on this term wokeness, they'd be more apt to pay attention to a drag queen reading children's stories somewhere in Sacramento than they are concerned about jobs with hazards on them, trains going off the tracks in Ohio. That's the level. The Republicans in power, they're using this term. They don't have to actually fix things. That's the things you want. They're not fixing bridges. They're not fixing water, cleaning up the air. They say your problem is wokeness. This thing that doesn't mean anything. Let's focus on that. And how much does that cost? How do you gauge how much wokeness was stopped? It's not an actual thing. Doesn't mean anything. Heavy, heavy, heavy on the special effects, but no story underneath. We are falling for it all over again, like always. One problem is we're all speaking different languages. No one has a rule book that says what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And if you don't get the rule book and you use the wrong word, then people penalize you. And sometimes the penalizing comes with losing your job or losing an opportunity. Don't get me wrong, there's some things you should already know. Like in a society, you should know in the year 2023, you can't walk up to a bunch of guys and call them the F word. You can't walk up to a bunch of black guys and call them the N word. And you don't walk up to a bunch of women that you don't know and call them the B word. Unless it's who wants breakfast. These things are pretty basic. I'm not into canceling comedians because we don't like their jokes. It's called don't go see their show. When we start taking away people's entire careers over a word they used, that I got a problem with. But see, that's not what Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis are talking about when they're complaining about wokeness. They're talking about everything. And that's why it's so dangerous, and that's why it's so effective to a lot of people. Not all people. Some people fall for it. They don't realize they're getting screwed while they got you focusing on wokeness. The real problems that are going on in your community ain't getting taken care of. You're not even getting any attention on the real problems. Just this weird wokeness stuff. That was pretty good. Are you woke now?